Ramena Nishacharuchamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha Raman Nasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham Rame Chittalayastada Bhutame Bhorama Mamudhara Rama Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattalyam Ramanama Varanane Ayun Rilruk Ayong Ayauch Hayavarat Land Jamaganam Javain Garadash Jabagaradash Kapha Cha 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 Tab Kapai Shashasal Hal Itimahansha Sutrani. I'm going to make Karthik as a organizer, so then he can also record. Yes, okay. So now Karthik, do you have the record button?
No, I actually don't see it. I just see the...
You will see it shortly, I think. There's sheet. It should change your... Also, you may want to, yeah. So you might see, if you see it, you can start recording also the backup. Wayne is here today. So,
no, I actually don't. I see only the change presenter. I don't see the recording button at all.
Oh, we had
see
the
all
same...
the attendees now?
Yeah, I think last time also the same issue was there. It was not getting displayed for me.
Okay. All right, we'll figure it out later on then. Let me see as an organizer. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
So first of all, Happy New Year to everybody. I put it on the board. Vikriti Nama Samvatsara. This is the Chaitra Masa Prarambha, right? So this is the Vikriti Nama Samvatsara Shubhada Syat Sarvebhya Chhatrebhya Sarvebhya Janebhya Cha. So, the 60 Samvatsaras, keep on rotating, right? It's Prabhavadi Shashti. Shashti Samvatsaraha. This word Shashti also is confusing. Shashti means 60 and Shashti means sixth. These two words are very confusing always. If you don't pronounce them correctly, they can really throw you off. I'm going to try to Google Docs today. So let's see, because then I can share the link directly. So Kalpesh suggests I'll try to Google Docs. Anyway, so the word Shashti is 60, and that's a feminine noun like Mati. While the word Shashti, it means sixth, and that's a like a Shashti Bhakti, Shashto. So Shashti is a feminine form of the word sixth. So to be very careful. It's when this is Shashtyabdi Purti, Shashtyabdi. So that would be Takara, not Takara. So Shashti is sixth in the feminine. So to watch out for these two. Anyway, so this is an adjective. Obviously, it's an adjective. So this is a feminine noun. This 60 is a feminine noun. But maybe someday we'll go through numbers, but these two. So this is an adjective. Okay, let me just see who all is here. Okay, Vasu is here, Usha is here. Okay, Anuji is not coming today, she mentioned to me. And Kalpesh is also not here. Okay, so let's continue with the homework. Let me put up the page here. I think we were on the following page, and now we're on this page, 86. And then he's giving us the word stha plus nini. To refresh your memory, the important sutram that we looked at is in the Kartari Krit 3467. So all Krit Pratyas as default are Kartari. Krit Pratyas start from about 3191, I think it is. Krit the thing. So I hope you guys will be using this Ashtadhyayi. You can also use the other Ashtadhyayi document, which has all the see, the numbers in that other one are a little bit off maybe sometime, but this one has the right numbers. So we're looking at Krud Ating. So that Adhikara starts from 3193, Krud Ating. So anything from 3193 to end of 34 is going to be Krut Pratyas. But how do they decide the Anuvritti stops? Interesting thing. How do they decide? Because Anuvrittis are not given by Panini. So they're not in black and white. And sometimes there's a controversy. Anuvritti is coming here or not coming here, etc. The general principle is that when something new is introduced which is incompatible with what Anuvritti is coming out, the Anuvritti has to be cancelled. So the sutras will not make any sense to Anuvritti anymore. So what happens in the fourth adhyaya is that, or sometimes Panini might say himself that, parak this and parak that, so up to that word, I'll give you an example of that also. In fact, right here in the Kruda thing, the first affix Panini introduces is the Kritya Pratyaya, and there he says Krityaha Prang Nulaha. So up to the word nul, and nul will come in. So in this case, it is very easy. The adhikara already is set by Panini. So that comes in 3.1.133. Otherwise, you have to see when the compatibility is lost. Of course, for us, it's very easy. We can just go to the Vyakhyanam, and they'll tell you. But what happens in 4.1.1 starts Niya Pratipadikat. So if Niya Pratipadikat, they're clearly no longer dhatus anymore. So that stops you. In fact, that's how they make the adhyaya, boundaries. Adhyaya boundaries are made based on this. The new topic starts. Okay. Now, so Krud Ating was 3.4.67, and we saw that has many places which are apavadas for that. I'm sorry, Kartari Krut is 3.4.67, Kartari Krut. So all the Krut Pratyas come in the sense of an agent as a default. But that has apavadas in between. The main one that we saw was it is a large section in 3.3, which is the bhave, and akartari chakarake sanyayam. So the entire section from 3.3.18 to 3.3.19, all the way to 3.3, about 100 and end of the street pratyas, they are all not in kartari. Their entire section is gone. And even after that, we have the napumsake bhave ektaha. So bhave is mentioned. So unless something else is specifically mentioned, all krut pratyas are kartari arthe. Okay, and as I also mentioned to you, 3.3 is really the main pada, really the only pada in Ashtadhyayi which makes nouns from verbal roots. All others generally make adjectives. So kartari krut, and put that again in my Google document now. Okay, so we have already seen this last time. So krud ating starts from 3.1.93. Krud ating. Now I'm repeating a lot of this, but krud ating. These are broad outlines of Ashtadhyayi, which you can remember. So 3.1.93, krud ating. So these are what called as, in English they call as participles, or sometimes they call it as the primary affixes. Why primary? Because the tadhitas are called as secondary affixes. Primary because from the dhatu you add the krut pratyaya, and then you add to make secondary nouns or adjectives, you can add the tadhitas. So called primary affixes. And of course these are all English names which don't, not important, but you see the used in the books like that. And the kartari krut is always to be kept in mind, because that puts the default for all the usage, the meaning in which a pratyaya is coming, kartari krut. So also I mentioned to you, just because you can derive a form doesn't mean you have to know what meaning it's coming in. Like a word like karta means the doer, but kartavyam, that which should be done. Now karanam, that could be doing, that could be by which you do something, could also be in which you do something. So you just because you know the word karanam, you have to figure out what meaning it is in. Now for our homework right now, we are looking at this sutram right after the kritya pratyayaha. There are two very important rules which we saw already in the previous class, and they were the nul trichav and also the there's those three ganas which we saw, the pachadi, grahadi, and nandyadi. So nandi, pachi, grahadibhyo. They'll be in the 3.1 around 133. So nandyadi will take the lyu ninya chaha. So nandi, grahi, pachadibhyo, lu, lyu, ninya chaha. So lyu, ninihi, achaha, respectively, yatha sankham. See, this kritya adhikara ended with this 3.1.132, and they were in the passive sense, because this apavada was there below 3.4.67, which we just saw, kartari krut. Below that is apavada which says that tayoreva krityakta kalarthaha. Kritya pratyaya only come in the passive. Tayoreva bhavakarmanoho eva. So really the first pratyaya which is used in Kartari is this one which we are looking at now. And the nul, trich, which come after any dhatu, sarvebhya dhatubhya vihitaha. And then comes this nandi grahi pachadibhya. So nandi adi dhatus will take the liu, the grahadi dhatus will take the nini, and the pachadis will take the ach pratyaya. They all will be in the Kartari sense. And there are also some below that, some exceptions. But right now we're looking at the grahadi, and that takes the pratyaya nini. So 3.1.134. In short, 3.1.134 is our sutram right now. 3.1.134. So the so Nandi, let me put that. Sorry, Nandi Grahi, and then Pachadi. So Pach Adibhyaha. Then we have the Yatha Sankham respectively. Sorry, let me improve my typing. Pachadibhyaha. Then we have this pratyas liu, then nini, and achaha, achaha, liu, nini, achaha. 3.1.134. Very important rule because it has lot of application. Many examples that we are using. So, and within that, right now we're looking at the grahadibhyaha. So when this adi is used over here, it means nandyadi, grahadi, pachadibhyaha, and then you get the yatha sankham, liuhu, ninihi, ach. So in this example, we have the graha. You should always ask the question in this language is that when somebody you find a new form, a new rule, by which sutram is this form coming? You may not know the answer, but it's good to ask the question, you know. So where does Panini say this? Sometimes not that easy to find. Some of them are a little bit difficult, but there should be a question should be asked. So graha etc. dhatus. So take the affix nini. Now in the nini affix, the no is an it by chutu, and the e is an it by Upadesha Ajananasika it. Now why is the last E as an it, by the way? Anybody can tell me in the class? The affix ninihi. Chutu we already saw that because that no is going to do the upada, the achur niti, and also the atopadhaya. So the no as an it. Let me back up 1 second. That all the it vidhayaka sutrani. Okay, Indu has the answer. Yes, Indu.
Prevent na lopa.
Yes, very well. What sutram?
827.
No, this is no. This will not stop 827.
Nalopa subswara. Nalopa subswara.
No, this will be a halantyam only.
Oh.
Because if the e was not there, then no would have been an it letter by halantyam.
Halantyam, correct.
So that is why to nakara tran artham ikara prayuktaha. So to protect this, Panini will do this sometimes, is that just to protect something from not becoming an it. So Hindu write this one, this. Otherwise, if it didn't have the e, and only the, that's also one of principle to remember, is the it always has a prayojanam. In fact, sometimes, just because there is no prayojanam, there is the it sanya nasti. So prayojana abhavat it sanya nasti. Ityapi kvachit drishyate. Is also sometimes they will argue. They means who is they? They means the scholars. The what you call shishtaha. The vyakhyatara or bhashyakara, whoever it might be, will argue that atra prayojanam nasti. So then this prayojana bhavat is sanya nasti. There is no it sanya. So this e has a prayojanam. By the way, even the ucharanartham is also a prayojanam. Ucharanartham, sometimes ucharanartham you have in it. For example, in an affix, like I'm a little bit sidetracking here, but it's a basic idea. If you make a pratyaya like an agama, like nut, we'll see this. We're not talking about it right now, but just to give an example, if you use the agama nut, now here the u is an it for what? Ucharanartham. if the U was not there, we'd have had nit, it cannot be pronounced because you'll have the na, nakara, takara, and ucharitum na shakyate. It'll be just nit like that. So ucharartham also is prayojanam. It has to have some prayojanam, because Panini will not waste any letters, as they say, it is that that for a grammarian, one letter is like equivalent to the birth of a son. Even half a vowel wasted, like you lost a newborn son, is what they say. So that the reason for that is that because millions of people have to memorize this, so millions of vowels are lost now. So that is why they make it extremely compact. So anyway, so in Mini.
Okay, Satish.
Yes.
The in this sutra we have Nandi, Grahi, Pachadibhya. So Nandi and Grahi, it's the dhatu is really grah, right?
Yes. So now
but we have an extra e here.
Extra e, because that also one Panini needs. How does Panini? We won't go into too much detail, but the question is that the dhatu is grah in dhatu patha. Right. First of all, you have to look up what is the dhatu in the dhatu patha itself. One of the best books that I find, which has very, very few errors, is the Madhaviya Dhatu Vrittihi, published by Ramulal.
Dhatu patha is Grahi.
Yeah, so Madhaviya Dhatu Vritti. Madhava is probably same as Sayanacharya, maybe his brother. So the Madhaviya Dhatu Vrittihi. Because there are a lot of typos in many books, So this one has been very well edited. Madhaviya Dhatu Vrittihi. And because I like to use this book because it is, Doshaha Santi Prayana. This is published by the Ramlal Kapoor Trust. One of the best. You definitely want to have this book because it is a good reference book. It is edited by. I'm going to write to them one of these days, hopefully. Ramlal Kapoor Trust. So anyway, in that we first should see what the dhatu grah. Hindu has a question. Yes.
I was just going to ask you, is it related to the Ishtipo, Ikstipo, Dhatu Nirdesha?
That's exactly what it is. That's the Vartikam.
Right.
So what Hindu is saying is that the Panini might use the E, or the stip means he will use the third person singular parasmipada lut form to make the to basically, for example, you say aster bhuhu. So he'll make the form asti. He'll refer just to the dhatu as. So the dhatu as can be referred to as asti. So asti doesn't mean
the number is also 31134?
In the
What you?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, thank you. Yes, I made typo here. Thank you. 134. Yes, thank you. 134. Yes. Actually, now since you're doing Google Docs, hopefully when I upload this, you can also correct the errors. I think I'll figure out how to do that. But people can correct the typos on there. Now today we're doing the Google Docs thing, so I'll try to upload this, and I think hopefully we can also all edit this and also add your comments, or if you want to add examples or other homework, or whatever, you can do that. So we'll get better at this as we go along. So what Indu was saying is that there is a Vartikam called Ik Stipa Dhatu Nirdeshe. So the Ik and the stip means the Ganavikaranam with the tip pratyaya. This is how Panini refers to dhatu. So he might refer to dhatu with the it letter from dhatu patha, without the it letter from dhatu patha, or he might just add the e with no guna or anything like that, or he might refer to the third person singular parasmaipada lut form, even though the dhatu is not parasmaipada.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. So he will never use atmanipada. Like he will never say labhate. So he will labhati only if he has to use, he will use. Because that's the Vartikam. I'll give you the number for that. So that's why Panini has used the word grahi. Again, it's basically uchcharanartham, because he doesn't want to mess up with the graph pach like that, So because then you would have had to see, because what Panini is doing is avoiding the sandhi rules over there. We don't want to start messing, because if you make nasty sandhi in the sutra itself, then we don't know exactly what the mula patha was. Where is the sandhi and where is the thing. So to avoid that. So let me give the number for the Ikshipa Dhatu Nirdeshe. This is a Vartikam, and this is in 33108 Vartikam. 33108 has a. Let me quickly go to that. So in Grahi, so in this form Grahi, what has been done is this. I'm sorry, I gotta get my typing. So use this 33108. uh, uh, the Vartikam to add the ik. Now, one more thing. This ik is not the pratyahara ik. In that Vartikam, let's go to the Vartikam for 1 second.
Ikstapau.
Yeah, ik. So that is the Vartikam. 33108 Vartikam. And this is not the pratyahara ik. So this e is only just the letter e, and the kurs and it will stop the guna, anything like that. In this Bahulam 33108. Okay, here it is. Dhatu artha nirdeshe, and we'll below that. Should be here. 33108, I think the Vartikam was here. Let's see, 33108, 33108. This, I guess, this Kashika is not complete here. I guess it's down here. Ik.
We have
anyway,
it.
This,
Yeah.
It is. We have it. It is. Ik stipau dhatu nirdeshe is real Vartikam. The example he gives is vidhi, chidi, also pachati, patati, and so on. Okay. So anyway, so that's how this grahi has been used with just the e as the just as a reference for the dhatu. That's all. Okay. So let's see. Actually, let's see what the dhatu in the dhatu patha itself is. This dhatu grah. Because sometimes Panini will use the dhatu, the it in the dhatu patha. He wants to refer to a specific dhatu itself, because there might be, sometimes there might be 2 or 3 dhatus which have the same form without the its. Then he wants to refer to a specific one, then he will refer to that it of that letter in the dhatu patha. So I'm looking at the dhatu patha now, and the one that is only graha, so it doesn't have any e in there. So this is only the, so this is the Vartika from 33108. Okay, so now this pratyaya being added is nini. We all in also to refresh everybody's memory one more time, is all these it vidhayaka sutrani. They are in the Prathamasya Adhyayasya Tritiya Pade Arambhe, the beginning. So Dvitiyam Sutram Arabhya. I think it's up to the 8th Sutram. Ashtaparyantam. So from this Upadesha Junanasika it up to 138, and then Tasya Lopaha. This takes Lopaha. So here for us right now we have Chutu. This Pratyayadi Cha Vargaha, Ta Vargaha, Ta Varga, Varnaha, Itsyat. And then the other one which we saw is also the Upadesha Junanasika it. So the E is an it by this 132. And the 137 is Chutu. So that's one. So after remove the it letters, so after nini, there's Anubandha Lope. Anubandha Lope means Anubandha Lope Krite. Then you only have, what remains is just the in only in remains. So Anubandha Lope. You might see this term being used, Anubandha Lope. All it means is that the its have been removed. Anubandha Lope. You get the in. So 132. I'll give you all these numbers. If you want to look at it in more detail, you can look them up, on your own. 132, 137. Okay, but then what is the ni? Nakarasya prayojanam kimasti? Is 2 sutras, which is the 72115 and 72116, and they will do. So these are like the instructions which come with the pratyaya. Okay, now Indu has a question. Yes, Indu.
Satish ji, graha, if you look in the dhatu pata, so the adi will not come in the same gana, is it? In the same.
Yeah. So the question Indu is asking is that what does adi mean? Sometimes Panini might use the adi, to refer to the sequence of the dhatu pata itself. They say Rudari Panchabhyaha. So that means these 5 has give a quick example. I think if you look at a quick example, maybe in 7.2, when Panini talks about these. In fact, I'll give you a better example. This is Vachi Sapi Yajadi Nam. So just to give you an example, in 6.1.15, Panini says, which we are not doing right now, but just to give you an example of how So 6.115 we had this sutram vachi sapi yajadi naam kiti, yajadis. So yajadis are in the dhatu patha order. So the last 9 dhatus of pacha of the buhadya yajadi. So this is the dhatu patha order itself. But it's not that like that all the time, because there might be actually a gana being listed, which is what we have right now in the grahadis. They're not in the dhatu patha order. They're just a set of dhatus, graha etc., which are enumerated in what is called as the ganapatha. What is this ganapatha now? Ganapatha is a list of basically ganas, which is when Panini uses the word adi, like Shiva, Adibhyo, and etc. So these are mainly a list of pratipadikams, but sometimes you also list of dhatus, grahadi dhatus. Now Panini will try as far as possible to put in dhatu patha itself in that order. But in our case, what's happening is that these dhatus belong to various ganas. So it's not really possible to put them in one gana without compromising a lot of other things. So in this case, you have to do the form a gana for these. This is not in the dhatu patha, because graha is in the 9th gana, Krishnati. But there are many other dhatu which are in this gana which are not in the. Then why do you say grahadi then? Because probably that form grahi is a famous form. So he will use the most well-known form probably to top the gana, to be the head, the main member in that gana. So Prathamavarti will be that, Prasiddhat. I think only Prasiddhatvat grahadi. So so this is not in dhatu patha order, but it will be listed in the ganapatha. Also, I think Kashika, if you do Siddhanta Kaumudi or Kashika, they will list the gana itself. So if you go to 3.1.134, you will see it listed right here in the dhatu patha. In the Kashika. So Vyakhyanam is Ganapatha books are also available, so you can also keep those handy to refer to those ganas. 3.1.134, and most of the important ones are given in Kashika itself or Siddhanta Kaumudi. So here the entire gana is because now the Kashika knows that there's a problem, because this gana is not in the dhatu patha order. So he will give, the graha, utsaha from here, starting from here. Up to here, he says iti grahadi. So up to here, he will say someone, so iti grahadi. Let's see, iti grahadi. So starting from here, graha, utsaha, uddasa, udbhasa, stha, mantra, sammarda, graha. So he'll then give the forms, grahis, utsahi, uddasi, and so on and so forth. Up to here, iti grahadi, iti grihyadi. So grahi is grihyadi. So that's the gana which is given to in the Kashika. Actually, if you look at our homework, we have 3 items, right? We have stha, graha, of course, which is the first member, and the utsaha. And you can see all 3 of them are here, because utsaha is the very next one, utsaha, and graha is the very first one, and stha is like the 5th one here. So all 3 of them are given here. Okay. So now, what I was saying was that we are going to the nit karyam, is nakara prayojanam. So what does the nakara and it do for you is that it brings in 2 rules. It brings two main rules. Actually, it brings also a couple of others, which you're going to see today now when we do the form sthayi. But the main rule that it brings with it are these 2, which is the 72115, 72116 is achojniti. So with ajantanga you have to do the vriddhi of that ending ach. What does the sutra say? That if you have a pratyaya coming which has the nakara or the nyakara, which is the cha varga panchama as an it, then you will get the vriddhi of the ending ach. Similarly, if you have the ata upadhayaha, so upadha is the penultimate letter. Alontyat puro upadha. So which is the prior to the ending letter is the penultimate letter is upadha. So if the upadha happens to be a short then also you'll get the vriddhi of that ataha upadhayaha. But that's not the only one. There are also, because this anuvritti of this niti goes down from 72115, it goes into 7.3, I think around 7.7330-ish. So the entire section you have to keep in mind. Whenever you have pratyaya which is this ta varga panchama, cha varga panchama as an it, then you have to keep this section in mind. Starting from 72115 to I think 7335. That niti goes down. Okay. So okay, let's start the homework now. So with that background, so stha plus nini, we already checked that this stha is in the Grahya Gana. So we can use this affix nini. So if we do stha plus nini, I think you already know the sutram which is coming here. Many of you know it. I think I gave it to you last time also, but we'll do. So nini, and we can remove these letters and make it in. We already did that. I'll just put in over here because we already removed the its by the chutu and the upadesha jananasika it. So in. Sutram which comes there is a special sutram which says that the ato yuk chinkrito ho. Ato yuk chinkrito. In that same section which I just told you about from the 72115 to 7330. It's good to get these Ashtadhyayi territories like a map. It's like a road map of the Ashtadhyayi. So it's good to have that in front of your eyes. And you can pick out these sections now. You can make a note of these somewhere and kind of mark them up. So, okay. So it is ato yuk towards the end of that, but towards the very end is ato yuk chinkrito ho. So, and we are, remember, to also refresh your memory, we are in the Angasya Dikaraha. Angasya Dikara starts from 641 up to end of 74, Angasya. So all these are referring to what is called as an anga. Anga is what can be called as the base. So when you add a pratyaya, it's a relative term. So that to which a pratyaya is added. So starting from there up to the pratyaya is what is called as the angam. So this angasya dikara, as I mentioned in Ashtadhyayi, the adhyaya is 3, 4, and 5. They only put the pratyayas in place, which is only pratyaya vidhanam, because the adhikara pratyaya parascha goes in 3, 4, 5. No really interaction is done there. Interaction is not done in 3, 4, 5 for the most part. There are some small exceptions, but for the most part you will not see any guna, vriddhi, samprasaranam, agamas, adeshas. Those all will not generally come in 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5 generally they will not come. Once in a while they will. But most of them is left for the Angasya Adhikara. That is the design of the Ashtadhyayi. So 1.4.13 is a sutram which defines Angam. What is Angam? Is defined 1.4.13. See, for those of you who are joining, it will take you some time to get used to this Ashtadhyayi, but once you get used to it, really it's the way to go. And there is, quite honestly, there is no other choice. Nanya pantha vidyate. Vyakarana jnanaya. There is no other way to go. So sooner or later you have to get used to this system. That's when you'll get the confidence. And two things: if you ever want to teach, you should teach what you know. And if you ever want to study the Vedas, then there is really no other way. You cannot read English books, and they are good also for practice. But if you want to get deeper, this is what you have to do. So yasmat pratyaya vidhi. Tadadi pratyaya angam 1.4.13. 1.4.13. Yasmat pratyaya vidhi. So that to which a pratyaya has been prescribed. Tadadi. So starting from that up to the pratyaya is an angam for that pratyaya. It's a relative term. So for this pratyaya, this is the angam. One other pratyaya is in the same form. Just to give you a quick example, which is when we do the dhatus. So what was the number? 1.4.13 is anga sanya. 1.4.13. Why do we need that right now? Because we are using a sutram in the Angasya Adhikara. So we should know what is angam, because these sutras only apply to angas. So what does that mean? Until you add a pratyaya to something, there is no angam. So you cannot use any sutram in 6.4, 7.1, 7.2, 7.3, 7.4. So you need the anga to be created first. And that is created by the entire 3rd, 4th, 5th chapter. So they all put the pratyaya and they create the angam. So 1.4.13 is the Angasya Adhikaraha. Is the Anga Sanya. Anga Sanya. And then once you have that Anga Sanya, and then once you have that, you can go to 6.4 up to end of 7.4, and that will be the Angasya Adhikara. Angasya Adhikara. Angasya adhikara. Okay. So for us, what is the angam here is the stha. So ato yuk chin kritoha, which we saw, the 7333 is telling us that if you have an ataha becomes a vishesham of angasya. So adantasya angasya. So when you have an anga ending in long a, then what does it get? It's a yuk agama bhavati. Chin kritoho. So the ataha is shashti. So when you have the pratyaya chin, which we don't have right now, pratyaya chin comes in lung lakara. We don't have it right now, so don't worry about it. But krutoho, chin krutoho is saptami dvivachanam. So let's look at the vritti for a second. If you have krut pratyaya, which is either nit or a jnit, chavarga panchama or tavarga panchama is an it, and you have the adanta anga, then the adanta anga will take a yuk agama. See, the individual sutras are not that hard to understand. Not hard to understand because, if you know exactly what is going on, and so that is the greatness of Panini, is he basically analyzed the language and figured out the basic rules, the fundamental rules which we need, and made them into like small bites that you can digest. So ato yuk chin kritoho. If you look at the vritti of that 70, always look at the vritti of all the sutras that you're using, because the vrittis, as I said to you, have been there is enormous amount of thought which goes into the vritti and also in the udharanam. Because as I said to you, this is like the Supreme Court of Vyakaranam. Is that the law is there? What do you have in the court? When you go to court, what do you have? Is you have the law, and then you have cases which have come before Supreme Court before. And according to that, they will decide your case most of the time, unless you have to go to Supreme Court yourself, which you have to go sometimes. Here also you have to go sometimes. You have to go to the Mahabhashyam, and you have to argue there also. So once in a while, but most cases don't go to the Supreme Court. The lower courts already decide because they already have the decision from the Supreme Court. So these are the examples which are given in this Ashtadhyaya, in the Kashika, Siddhanta Kaumudi. They are like the cases that they have taken. They've taken the stereotype cases, and they have made a decision. So this is what you have to use. If you have a case which doesn't fit in there, or maybe you disagree with that, then only you have to go. So otherwise, you don't have to worry about it. You just take that case and you are finished. So 7333. Let's look at the vritti there. So here it says. So maybe you can make it one. So this might be like the Constitution. Then you have like a Supreme Court in the ruling, and then you have the cases down there. So it says akarantasya angasya chini, which we don't have right now, chin, or kriti, niti, yuk agamo bhavati. So dayakaha, dhayakaha, example which I have given. Okay, so now this yuk agama, in the yuk agama, what are the it letters? First of all, halantyam, and also the upadesh ajanunas. Okay, this is also another case where so use 7333, 7333. To actually, many years ago, I think it was somebody from California who called me. They wanted to make like a manual, like an answer sheet for this Antoine Book too. So maybe these documents can be like an answer sheet, and we can revise and add to them as we go along. So 7333 to add the yuk agama. Now this yuk has the halantyam kakara. Kakara sit sanya and upadesha jananasik. Its anubandha lope, only ya remains. So yakaraha eva avashishyate. Now here also you see that u is for ucharanartham, because if you didn't have the u, it will be yuk like that. So yuk is much easier to pronounce. Really should be yuk, because it should be nasalized u. Now what is this ka doing here? Is we saw the sutram adyantau takitau. Adyantau takitau. So what a sutram says is that's the paribhasha sutram. Paribhasha means that it doesn't really prescribe anything. It just tells you makes the operation rules. What it is like. The rules of the game, so to speak. So when Panini says something, what does it mean? What does it imply? That's all it says. So how to interpret? I should say interpretation rules. How to interpret Panini's instructions. That's what is called as paribhasha. And the paribhashas also extend beyond the Ashtadhyaya. That is where the PhDs spend a lot of their time, because a lot of times Panini's instructions are not they can be interpreted in different ways. So there is a very, very beautiful text called Paribhasha Indu Shekhara by Nagesha Bhattaha. Very nice text, which includes about 100 odd paribhashas, which are beyond the which are not in Ashtadhyay. And there they argue, how they came up with these, because for the Paninian system to make sense, you need those paribhashas. Of course, there are some controversies also. Anyway, Adyantav Takito is a paribhasha sutram which is in the Ashtadhyay, 1146 is the sutram, and that sutram says that the Adi Antav, Adyantav Takito. So when you have the t as an it, and that agama will go to the beginning of the term, it will become an adi. And when you have the ka as an it, it will become the antya vayavaha. It will go to the end of the place is going. You have to remember one thing now, that agamas become part and parcel of the thing that they are going. When you add a pratyaya, it is a separate block. It can act on the angam. It can do guna, it can do vriddhi, it can do sampasaranam, it can do lopaha, it can do all kind of thing. The agama cannot. So the agama only comes and joins. Yad agama stadguni bhavati, tadgrahanena griyate. It just comes and joins to it. It does not interact with that block. There's no, of course you do sandhi rules, but beyond the sounds which come in together, there is no interaction of guna, etc. happening between those. So you have to remember this. And that becomes a single block. Now it's going to go together. The agama will always go together with this, whatever it's joined with. So the mitravad agamaha is like a friend, he always goes with you. Shatruvad adeshaha. Adesha like a shatru. So it destroys what is there. Adesha is a substitution. Well, agamaha is an augment. So mitravad agamaha. So remember the sutram adyantau takitau. So that also is an indicator to you what is an agama. Because how do you know whether a term being prescribed is an adesha or an agama? Sometimes because both come in the place of the shashti used to for the place of the operation, so sometimes it might not be clear, what we are talking about. So if you see this ter, ka as an it, there's also a ma as an it also on a sutram for that, then we can understand that this is probably going to be an agama. So in fact, that many times will tell you this is an agama. So these two rules, one, I think numbers might be off here. One, let me go to the document. I think it's 1145, 46, or maybe 46, 47. These are two rules which are mainly used to decide where the agama goes. Now, why do you even need this? Because when the pratyaya comes, the default rule is pratyaha parascha. Pratyaha parascha. So para bhavati, paravarti bhavati. So it always follows the term which is going to. But in agama, there's no such default rule. It doesn't tell you. So adir bhavati, antya bhavati, madhya bhavati va, not jnayate. So there is no rule to tell you. So that's why you need these rules to tell you where they will go. So actually the number is 46, 47. So 1 and 40. That's why the number in this document is a little bit off. So it might be off by 1 or 2. So anyway, these are the two rules. Adyantau takitau and midocho antyat paraha. So 1146, 47. Again, apologies to the old people who've been here for years because this is all very easy for you. But anyway, for the new people, it is good. So 1146, 47. So we are using right now 46. So using 1146, this yuk will go to the, so let me underline that 46 right now. Let me see if I can do this one. Okay, underline, okay. So that is one that we need right now. And that is the one that's going to put the ya at the end of the stha, and we're going to get the form sthayin. Sthayin. So this is an adjective, sthayin. Because Pani did not say that this should go in this linga and that linga or anything like that. Also in linga anushasana also is no such thing. This sthayin creates an adjective. It would decline like in the masculine it becomes sthayi, sthayinau, sthayinaha, sthayinam. And here the only important sutram for the masculine is the saucha, saucha dirgha. So in the when the su pratyaya follows, it will make a dirgha ending. So it becomes sthayi. And the ending na will go by 8 to 7. Won't go into more detail because that's not our homework right now. But if you want to decline them, you have to use the sutram saucha. Is sau asambuddhau parataha. In hana usha aryamnam upadhaya dirgha bhavati. So anyway, so what if you want to make, so this is an adjective, let me put that here. This is an adjective, and that is the pratipadikam, because this is the raw form. Why is it pratipadikam, by the way? So krut tadhita samasascha. Krut tadhita samasascha. Pratipadika. Pratipadika sanyakaha syuhu. So these will get the pratipadikam sanya. So when the moment you have a krut pratyaya, you have to immediately decline it. You cannot use any kudanta unless you decline it. Because of why is that also? Let me take these two places. Because first of all, krut tadhita samasascha. This is 1246. The pratipadika sanya. And then why do you have to decline? Is there any choice? Can you use without declining? No, there's no choice. Because the fact that in 412, Pani says, Niya pratipadika su aujas ityadi. So nitya karyam. The moment you have a pratipadikam, you have to come to 412. And you have to use one of these pratyayas to decline it. So as I say, apadam na prayunjita. Apadam na prayunjita. One should not use a word in this language which is not a padam. In Hindi and Telugu, Marathi, we do that. But here, nothing should be used with apadam. So you should not say mandira. You should say mandiram in this language. You should not say Rama, unless it's vocative maybe, but it should be Ramaha. So apadam na prayunjita. So this 412 will be used invariably. This is nitya karyam. Vikalpa nasti. So you have to use that. So these two together will now immediately come. So the moment you look at 1-2, that I think was 46, krut tadhita samasascha. So all samasas, all tadhitantas, and all the krudantas, they are all become pratipadikams. And the moment they become pratipadikams, you have to decline them. So 1-2, I think, let's see, 1-2, yeah, 1-2, 46, yes, correct. So 1-2-46 and 4-1-2. You immediately remember this, 1-2-46, 4-1-2. So 1-2-46 will give the pratipadika sanya, and then you have to use the pratipadika sanya, and then you have to use the, and then you use the 4-1-2 to apply the appropriate pratyaya to decline it. So you can use it. So in the masculine, normally single, you'll have the form sthayi. So there we are using the Saucha Sutra, which I'll give you the number for. So this will be masculine nominative singular. So masculine nominative singular, which is the Pratama Ekvachanam Pullinge. And then if you want a feminine, it becomes sthayini. It becomes sthayini. Here you also use, so let me put the numbers here. So you have to remove the nakara at the end by 8 to 7, and the saucha dirgha will come in the 6-4-13. So 6-4-13 along with the 8 to 7. I'm just providing too many sutras for you right now. So if you don't get some of these, don't worry. Take the one which you can get. You will repeat it 100 times. So later on you can try to pick up the one that you missed. And now comes the form sthayini in the feminine. So that you have to make a feminine form. Now, as I mentioned to you also many times, when you want to make a feminine, you cannot use anything in the feminine unless you check. So you have to check the section starting from 413, etc. The striyam adhikaraha. Adhikara called striyam. So nothing can be used as a pratipadikam in the feminine unless you have to run this routine. It's like a computer routine, you know. You have to pass it through this routine. The pratipadikam has to pass through that routine in order to use in the feminine. It cannot be used. Of course, there might be no operation there. That's okay. It might come out the same as it went in. In our case, we do have an operation, which is rinnebhyo neep. Rinnebhyo neep. So 415 will apply. So in our case, I think the striyam goes from 413 all the way up to around 80-ish, 81. So 413 to 81. 413 to 4181. And here, if 415 applies here, so here 415 applies, and we get the form which decline like nadi. So here 415 applies. Okay, so this is decline nadi, sthayini, and in the neuter, it just be sthayi. Samo napumsakat luksyat, and we'll get the form sthayi. Here also you have to use samo napumsakat to remove the su or the luk syat, and then you have to use 8 to 7. Nadopah pradipadikantasya. The samo napunsaka will be in 7.1. How do I know that? Because I mentioned to you many times that all the pratyaya adeshaha, they come in the saptamasya adhyayasya prathamasya padasya purva bhage. Pratyaya adeshaha labhyante. So this is all coming, this is in 7.123. Okay, so that's this form. So I think we have done a lot of detail with this one. So let's look at the next one, sthayi. Anyway, for his homework, I think you only have to come to this sthayin, and that's all he's asking for right now. Now the next one that he gives is the grahanini. Here only change, we won't go through all these steps. The only change is that, again, remove the chutu, the na is an it, upadesha and anasika it. And only difference here is you have to use 72115 atopadhayaha. So the form will become grahin, and then the same thing will become the pradipadikam will be grahin. And we are using 72115 to perform the atopadhayaha. The upadha, short as an upadha takes tukta vriddhi. That just na as an it is doing that function. So become grahin. It become grahi, become grahini in the feminine, grahini. Only other change is that in the feminine we'll have the form grahini. Nattam bhavati, nakalasya nakaradesha bhavati. Because of this repha which is here, it becomes grahini.
Okay. Satish, 72116?
Yes, you're right. Thank you. 115 is achonyati. Yes, thank you. Correct. Yes, Wayne is correct. It's 116. Please correct this one. Again, I hope that we can put on this Google Doc thing. It will work. You can do the changes yourself. When you can edit this, just make the changes, the numbers. The 72116. Thank you. Because 72115 was achonyati. 116 is atopadaya. So that's grahini. So that's, and again we have to check if this word, this grah dhatu is in the grihyadi gana. Of course, it's the very first one. So we already checked that. So we were applying. We have all this. We are applying. First, we have to come down here. We have to first check that this 31134. That's our basic. That's our first starting point. From there only we have to start. Okay. The next one is utsaha plus nini. Utsaha plus nini. Now here the interesting thing is that the ut really is a pruthak padam. It's a separate pada. Even though in the grihyadi gana you have utsaha listed, you have the ut is pruthak padam. All it says, when the ut upasarga is there, I think it's ud, then you can use the nini pratyaya with saha. So you could not just say sahi. You can make ut sahi. Saha is to bear. Sahine, so sahine comes, I think, in the Yajurveda, right? So Lord Shankara is called pasayya sahin. So one who can bear anything forcefully. So he can bear also means to overcome. He can overcome anything. He can deal with anything. One who can deal with. Utsaha is to be enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is utsaha. Utsaha is enthusiasm. Utsahin is one who has enthusiasm. Utsaha. So here again the same rule, 72116, which went correct. It is 72116. So we'll do the atopadhayaha, get the form utsahin. We won't go through all the same all same steps. So utsahin. Okay, let's put the pratipadikam down here. And here you will also get the same thing. It will become utsahi, utsahini, and utsahi in the neuter. Utsahin pratipadikam. So that completes the exercise. So this was the graha or grahyadi gana which we saw in this one, and these take the pratyaya nini to make kartari arthe visheshanam. It is visheshanam. So the next example that he is taking is that with the pratyaya ach, so bhagam harati pujam arhati shilayam shete. Shilayam shete. Now bhagam harati. Now these are going to be, why is he saying bhagam harati and not just harati? Because these are upapada samasas. So here he has put samasas over here because I guess he wants to introduce the krut pratyaya. Because these krut pratyayas, they depend on the upapada being there. Now how do we know that? Because this, first of all, to form any samasa, you have to start from a sutram in 2.1 or 2.2. So samasaha means you have to go to this section first. You cannot form any samasa whatsoever unless you start from this section. So samasaha, you have to start with 2.1.2.2. Only 2 adhyayas. Two padas only. And they're short padas. Short padas. So this can be, in fact, 2.2 only, I think 30 odd sutras. So about 100 odd sutras is what entire samasa vibhaga, samasa vishaya. But that's only be a starting point. You'll have to do some operations in between, or you might have to look for, like in our case, you're starting from this sutram upapadam thing, but that spawns into a whole big section in in the third adhyaya. But that's fine. You still have to start from this 2.1. And within that, as I mentioned to you, these tatpurushas go from 2.1.2.2.2.2.2.2. So 2.1.2.2.2.2.2 tatpurushaha. So the tatpurushadhikaraha. The tatpurushaha goes from which is what we need right now, because this upapada samasas, the special kind of tatpurusha samasas. So that's why we need to first look at these tatpurusha samasas. So tatpurusha samasaha, when we have to do those, then within that we have to go from this 2.1.2.2.2.2.2. And at the very end, towards I think 2.2.19 or so, is the one that we need right now, which is upapadam ating, upapadam ating, upapadam ating. Repeat the sutra many times so they will stick in your head. These two are confusing sutra. Krudating and upapadam ating. Because krudating is only setting the adhikara for krut pratyaya. That we already saw in 3.193, krud ating. So don't get confused between these two. They're completely different subject. Atyanta bhinna vishayaha. Completely different subject. One is krud ating. So what is the krut pratyaya? Is that which is prescribed in this section from 3.193 to the end of 3.4, and which are not tin pratyas. Krud ating. It's just telling you what is krut pratyas. Now upapadam ating is a completely different thing. So what it says is that, sorry for the pun. Upapadam ating is completely different, but it mentions that you can form a samasa. You can form a samasa which will be a special tatpurusha samasa if you have a authorized upapada, as long as you're not creating a tinganta with it. Now, why is this cryptic sutram like that? Because the fact that I think I mentioned to you also in last class is that normally in samasas you have a sup with another sup. So sup supa samasyate prayana. But this is one exception. Why do we need exception? Because here the sup cannot be brought in unless the upapada is there. And the upapada you cannot form the samasa until the sup is there. So now this is this catch-22. So Panini says, okay, you can form the samasa. So upapadam is samarthena shabdantarena samasyate. Doesn't say subantena. So shabdantarena samasyate. Tatpurushasya samasa bhavati. So when I make these on my own, don't take these as 100%. Okay, I'm making these based on, generally I'm saying. So you should take the exact wording from the Kashika or Siddhanta Kaumudi. Always check vrittis in Kashika, Siddhanta Kaumudi. When I say them on the fly like that, I may miss out a thing or two. But upapadam mating. So because it says shabdantarena samasyate, not subantena. So you don't have to have the sup ready there. But which upapadas are allowed with dhatus, and which pratyas can be taken by those dhatus? So that now we have to, so when we start with 2.2.19, but then to use 2.2.19, we have to come to the tatropapadam saptamistham, tatropapadam saptamistham, tatropapadam saptamistham. So what is upapada? Upapada is here a technical term, okay? So you have to be a bit careful, because sometimes sutram upapada may not be a technical term. Like Pani might say yushmadi upapade, asmadi upapade. So that upapada is not this upapada. So it's a bit confusing. But this, when Pani started making this tatpurusha samasas, then only upapadas which are allowed or which are coming in this section which says tatropapadam saptamistham. So right below the thing, before that is tatra upapadam saptamistham. Tatra means asmin tritiya dhatu adhikare. In this third adhyaya is 3 dhatus. One is coming in 3.1, I think it is 7, which covers only one sutram, and then it comes from 3.1, 10, 22. So 3.17 has a dhatoho, and 3.122 has a dhatoho. Now that comes all the way down to 3.19. Then why did Panini have a new dhatoho coming from here? Because he wants to split this third dhatoho, because they will be the one which from here on, tatra, mititiya dhatu adhikare. Upapadam saptami stham, means that which is indicated by the word in the saptami. That will be, so not that word itself, but indicated by that word. So if you take a quick example, which is karmanyan, so karmani, so not the word karma, but any object, any karmavachaka shabda, will be a qualified upapada to add the pratyaya and with any dhatu. So now, as a practical matter, most of these pratyayas come from 321 to 32100. So we have to first look at 3192. And 3192 says you can take the entire remaining section from 3193 to end of 34. But these technical saptamis, okay, not like when Pani says vartamane lat. And vartamane lat, the vartamana is not upapada because that is already has a regular meaning in the language. So these technical saptamis in this section which are used. So then we come, let me go to the document here. So 3192, and most of the upapadas, so most of the upapadas are in upapadani, I should say. Upapadani are defined in this section from, there are some outside, it's not the only one, but this will get to 80%. I should say about 80% are in this section. So 8, 3, 2, 1. In fact, for the homework right now, that's all we need right now. It's 321 to 100. Starts with karmanyan. So this is the whole background for you. So we are talking about samasas right now because these pratyayas cannot be used unless you have that particular upapada. That's why in the homework, it's using bhagam harati. It didn't say harati iti haraha. It says bhagam harati. But you may have harati iti haraha. Like, hara is Lord Shiva, right? Haraya namaha. That may be a different pratyaya, but if you use to make this particular form, you need the upapada there. So bhagam harati. Now, as a default, I already mentioned to you the rule 321, karmanyan. So if any karma upapada is there, means if you have an object of a verb as an upapada, you have to use the pratyaya an to make this upapada samasaha. So so 321 would have had us do the following. So by 321, we would have had this, one of the things they tell you when you're trying to teach somebody is don't put anything wrong on the board. So that's what actually Swamiji at the ashram told me when he first asked me to teach. He said, don't put anything wrong on the board. Because people always remember that one wrong thing you put on the board. They'll always remember that one thing. Let me try this new font over here. So we would have had the bhagam harati example. We would have had the bhaga plus nyas. Also, I'll explain this why the nyas also, and plus the dhatu ru, and then we had the pratyaya an. We would have had that. Now let me use this. Maybe try this strike through. Can I do that over here? No, I don't have that. All right. Because I thought we had that. All right. Put this in gray maybe. All right. Put it in gray. All right. So this one is not what we have because of the fact that there are special sutras below there, which will stop it. Now let me talk about this one for a second. This nyas, because Vigravakyam we saw is bhagam harati. Then why did I say nyas? Why not bhagam harati? Reason for that is 2365. I mentioned in the last class. I will only go briefly right now. Is 2365. Even though karmani dvitiya is the default sutram. If you have any krut pratyaya, you have to use the so 232 would have said you should make it bhaga plus but 2365 then comes and says that krati karmanoho kriti shashti syat. So that will be a shashti bhakti. So if you have any krut pratyaya, which we do right now, because that an pratyaya is coming in the adhikara to the thing, it's a krut pratyaya. So kriti. So when krut pratyaya is there, then the kartru and karma has to take shashti. So that's why I'm using shashti. And yes, but then how in the Vigraha Vakyam we use the bhagam harati? Why do we not say bhagasya harati over there also then? Because that is overruled by 2369. Na lokavyaya. In fact, I take it back one more thing. This says only kriti. Kriti. It says bhagam harati krud ating. Krud ating. Krud ating. In fact, to make a correction, I think in one of the prior classes, so you don't even need 2369 for this. Because of krud ating, when you say bhagam harati, the harati, that tip pratyaya is not a krud pratyaya anymore. Because of ati, it's a thing, krud ating. So therefore, 2365 won't even come into play when you say bhagam harati. I think one of the prior classes I said by mistake, you need 2369. But you don't even need 2369 to stop 2365. 2365 is not applicable at all in the form bhagam harati. Because the form harati is ending in a ting pratyaya, and kruda ting says that the ting pratyaya is not a krud pratyaya. You will not apply 2365. So we'll put in the document in brief over here is we use nyas because of the, so we have, I'm sorry, okay. So we have used the shashti ekvachanam nyas because of 2365. I think, thank you, I think I mentioned it. Satya was the one who pointed this out to me. 2365. In every class, I think I learn the most because I have to catch all my mistakes. So 2365 stopped the 2362. 232, I'm sorry. 232. So that brought in the shashti. But when we have bhagam harati, when you use that one, we are not doing karakas right now, so we don't really need this for the homework as such. But when we talked about bhagam harati, at that point we did not have to deal with this because 2365 won't apply here. 2365 doesn't apply because the pratyaya tip, which is at the end over there, is a ting pratyaya. So because tip is a part of the ting pratyahara. So, and because of krud ating, this doesn't come under the domain of that is thing. So, and hence it is not a krud pratyaya. Some of these details, we need to understand clearly because sometimes if you just read a book, you'll kind of gloss over a lot of these things, and then so you'll be left with a lot of questions. So, not krud ating. So, okay. So we got, but now what is stopping the and now? So we'll not get the right form. We'll have the form bhaga haraha. So there are some specific rules which Panini puts below that 2, 3, below 2, 3, below 3, 2, 1. There are specific rules for specific dhatus. First of all, the anuvritti of the karmani the karmani anuvritti. So you only have to look into that section because we have a karma upapada we do have. So the anuvritti of karmani, let me check that one, how far that goes. That goes, I think, for like 56 sutras, quite a long way. But in, I think, around about 3, 2, 329, it says, haratehe anujyamane ach. So that sutram says that you have to use this pratyaya ach if you have the dhatu ru only. So see, now this is Panini's style. He gave karmanyan as a default for all dhatus. Then coming below starts the exceptions now. That wait a minute, if the dhatu is ru dhatu, then we don't use the an. We have to use the pratyaya ach unless you have this meaning of anudyamane. So udyamana means he says that is one like when you have to exertion. So exertion, So bhagahari is, I think, one who like a shareholder or a share taker, one who take make me like an heir. Like when you have an heir to the estate, you become a hari. Maybe in a dhatu heir you have the dhatu ru maybe, possible. I don't know. So in the English word heir, maybe HEIR, maybe you have the dhatu ru there also maybe. So one who takes away the share, bhagahari. Not like really exertion. So when you do bharahari, in fact. If you have a bharahari, it becomes bharaharaha. So if you had the example bhara instead of bhaga, if you had, so instead of bhagam, if you had bharam, then if you had bharam, then you could not use. Then 329 could not be used. You would have to go back to the you have to default to the 321. Default to 321 because anujyamane. If you like some kind like in carrying or exerting, then this one cannot be used. But for now, right now, we have the word bhagam. Oh, Hindu is a question.
Satish,
Yes,
just
yes.
it's about the word udyamana.
Yes.
I thought it was to raise a load. You think it's to do with the...
Yeah, I guess technically it means udyama is to raise. In fact, let's get some Gita action going. We haven't got the Gita today so far. Maybe that's my punishment for that, is not getting the Gita going all this time. Okay, let's get the Bhagavad Gita going. Anybody? The dhatu udyama in Gita. Anybody? Udyama. But generally when we say udyama, it means like effort. Udyama like an effort. But here, what's that?
Uddaredatmana.
Manatmana avasadayet. No. Okay, I'll give you, now I will start giving you hints now. Okay, 11th adhyaya. Anybody? First about maybe 15 shlokas. Udyata ayudham. So when he had many, the Vishwarupam, he had when he raised weapons. So this is not working today, this English. Sometimes the site doesn't work. It is here, I'm sorry, it is here. I'll take it back. My mistake. It's here. Okay, second adhyaya I'm thinking of. Anekodyata ayudham. So this is when Sanjay is talking, I think. So Sanjay also saw the Vishwarupam. And there, in the beginning itself, he said, I see this form with many raised weapons. Anekodyata ayudham. No, I'm sorry, wrong adhyaya. 11th adhyaya. 11th adhyaya. Okay, 11th adhyaya, when he starts describing the Vishwarupam, in there itself, he ihayakastham jagatkastham. Okay, Sanjay Uvacha, here it is. Aneka udyata ayudham. Udyata. Divya anekodyata ayudham. So this Vishwarupam had many divine weapons which were raised. Udyata, so udyama. Same dhatu. Udyama gave the form udyata, which to raised weapons. Yes, it came into raise, to lift, but udyama also can generally mean effort. I haven't gone through the bhashyam on this, but it says basically it means could be made maybe to raise a load, could be a specific meaning here, could be. Yes, so okay, that's a good point. So that maybe here is a more specific meaning of raising a load. Only in that meaning, this 329 won't apply. But we don't have that. We have bhagam, so we can do it. So now let's finish this form now. So we have this when you have these upasarga dhatu combinations, there is really no Panini Sutrams will not, because his job is not to give you the meanings of words, because those already should be known to you. So we have to go and look at literature and read examples. And I also mentioned that you have the Upasarga Chandrika, very nice work which gives you all the upasargas. If even a dhatu vritti, even if you look at the Bhaimi Vaksha, or even in the Krundrupamala, I'll give some examples. Of course, Apteji also will give. So bhaga plus yes plus ru. Now we would have had the and, but instead we're going to get the pratyaya ach by the Sutram 329. And here the only thing here to do is the sarvadhataka ardhadhataka yoho. Sarvadhataka ardhadhataka yoho. That's 7384. We'll do the guna of the ending r, of the r. And then this r is also very badly pronounced. If you look at English, they say Rishikesh, they start with the R, Rishikesh. Rishikesha, Hridayam. But they say, Rishikesh, R-I, make R-I, Rishikesh, R-I-S-H-I-K-E-S-H. You see in English many times, Rishikesh, but it should be Rishi. So many times that Ha is kind of lost in pronunciation. That's just a mistake. But anyway, so we have to, you apply the, apply 7384 sarvadhatuka ardhatuka yoho. That's also in the Angasya Adhikara. Again, the same technique. You put the blocks in place in the Adhyaya 3, 4, or 5. Right now only third Adhyaya because we're talking about dhatus right now. When we do the Tadita, we'll go 4 and 5 also. But 3, 4, or 5, for dhatus only 3. And then we go to the Angasya Adhikara and see what operations we have to do. So the same general principle holds here also. So that sutra says that we Sutram 7084, if you have pratyaya which is sarvadhatika or ardhadhatika. Now what is sarvadhatikam ardhadhatikam? Is ting shit sarvadhatikam, ardhadhatikam sheshaha, ting shit sarvadhatikam, ardhadhatikam sheshaha, ting shit sarvadhatikam, ardhadhatikam sheshaha. So the end of 3.4 dhatu iti vihitasya. So when any pratyaya is prescribed by using the word dhatoho, and again I mentioned to you from 3, 4, 7 as dhatoho, from 3, so this is a bigger domain of this sarvadhatuka. Ardhatuka is a bigger domain. So this starts from 3, 4, 7, that one sutram, then from, 3, 1, 7. I'll just go back there again one more time. So 3, 1, 7 is also a very important concept. Is what is the domain covered by the sarvadhatuka, ardhadhatuka? Not to be confused with Krit Pratyayas. So the Krit Pratyaya domain is a subset domain of this Sarvadhatuka, Ardhadhatuka domain. And there we have 317, is a dhatoho for that one single sutram. Then from 3122 all the way to the end of 34. So all these pratyayas from including so 31. So the domain for when we have to domain for the sarva, the sarva dhatuka, or the ardha dhatuka sanya, ardha dhatuka. You have to look at anything which is coming in this section from. So you get 317, and also from 3122, you take it all the way to end of 34. End of 34. Because then how do we know that? Because dhatu riti vihitasya, the dhatu should have been used. Then only it gets a sanya, sarvadhatuka or ardhadhatuka. And right now we are using 329 right now. So keep in mind that we are using 329 right now. So that is in that domain. And do we have now ting shit sarvadhatukam ardhadhatukam sheshaha? So within this domain they go into two baskets. So dvidha pratyaha bhavanti atra. So ye atra tingaha, which is tingaha, atvaha shakara talyavya. So talyavya shakara idyuktaha. So again I'm making this up on my own. Don't take it as a gospel, but I'm kind of just telling you in simple Sanskritam. Is that which are in the ting pratyahara, or which is talavya shas and it, they will be te sarvadhatukaha bhavanti, sarvadhatukaha pratyaya bhavanti. So and then ardhadhatukam shesha. So remaining all is ardhadhatukam. So we do not have right now. So 3, 4, 1, 1, 3, 1, 1, 4, 3, 4. So ultimately, so we have to domain for this is that, and then check 3, 4, 1, 1, 3 and 1, 1, 4. So either one of them will qualify for this sutram right now. This 7384 does not care whether we have pratyaya which is sarvadhatuka or ardhadhatuka pratyaya. But there are many rules which will depend on which one it is. Right now for us, all of them are qualifying with 7384. So it just so happens that our pratyaya, ach pratyaya is ardhadhatuka, but even if it were sarvadhatuka, even then we could apply 7384. But that will not be all the time. There will be time when you can only use pratyaya sarvadhatukas, only ardhatukas, etc. So ach is, so by that, so by the ach is a sarvadhatuka pratyaya by I'm sorry. Excuse my typing, a little bit slow, I know that. Avadhatuka Pratyayaha by 34114. Ardhadhatukam. I have made a mistake. Ardhadhatuka Pratyaya. Trying to focus on my typing, I made a mistake on the word itself. Okay. Ardhadhatuka. Okay. 34114. Because not Ting Pratyaya is not a Shit Pratyaya. So when you apply 3, and then you do the Uran Rapaha, and become Har. So the final form will be Bhagaharaha. One more small, and this will become an adjective. Now, to remove that Nyas Pratyaya in between there, you have to use Sutram 2471. Supo Dhatu Pradipadika Yoho. Supo Dhatu Pradipadika Yoho. So, if you have a Sup Pratyaya, which is inside a Pratipadikam, or a Dhatu, then that Sup has to be Luk Syat. It takes a Luk illusion. So you use the 2471 along with, which you already saw, I think 1246 for the Pratipadika Sanya, to remove the Luk illusion. To do the Luk illusion of the Nyas Pratyaya over there. So that's how that goes. And then we get, as I said, the guna of the Ru, make it Har, and we get the form Bhaga Hara. Also an adjective. Now this is Bhaga adjective. Now if it were feminine, of course masculine will be like Ramavat. Bhaga Hara, Bhaga Harao, Bhaga Haraha, Bhaga Haram, Bhaga Harao, Bhaga Haran, etc. It will be Bhaga Haram in the neuter, or it will be Bhaga Hara in the feminine. Because this Pratyaya Ach, unlike the Pratyaya An which came in, this Pratyaya Ach is not listed in the 4115. So as I mentioned to you, you have to check this section in 413, the Striyam Adhikaraha, to use anything in the feminine. It has to pass through this routine. It has to pass through this routine. It cannot be used. So there we have one rule which is sitting there, which is 4115. So 413, so on 4180-ish, I think it's 81, which we have the Striyam Adhikara. So it has to pass to the department. It has to be released by the department if it can be used, if it can come outside for usage. Nothing can pass out without that. So there we have so 413 to 4181, and this says this very musical sutram Tiddhaning Dvyasaj Dajnyang Matrach Tayap Thak Thang Kain Kwarapaha. This is one of the most musical Panini sutrams. Tiddhaning Dvyasaj Dajnyang Matrach Tayap Thak Thang Kain Kwarapaha. Okay. So in that we have anything which stirs in it, tit stirs in it, or dha or the pratyaya an is there, and the ain is there, but ach is not here. So that means your default to this ajadiyata stop. So it will become bhagahara, bhagahara. If you had the word, for example, bhara, it will become bharahari, nari. If you had the pratyaya an, she will then take the long e, and it become bharahari, but then bhagahara nari. So we have the default 41. What does 414 say? Anything ending in a short a, we take the pratyaya top, which is a long a, we do akasama dirgha, and it will become this. So 414 will apply for us. We just have to make in the feminine. So in the feminine, you will just use the 414 to get the form, to get bhagahara. Bhagahara. But you would have had bharahari, because there the an pratyaya is so this bharahari would have come from 3 to 1 along with the 4115, because 3 to 9 could not be used. That would have been the form there. Okay, so anyway, it's an adjective for the homework right now. We don't need all that because he's just asking us to get the Pratipadikam right now. So all we need is this Bhagahara. Bhagahara, adjective. Bhagahara, adjective. maybe put adjective in the document here. So I said, I think the job of this class is to create this document properly so people can use it, later on. I think more people are looking at the recording than at the class itself. So I think there are more people looking at the recording than the class itself. The document becomes, I think, more critical for that. Okay, let me save this thing. All right, so what's the next example that he gives? Next example he gives is puja marhati. It's 329, which we just used only for the dhatu r. So that cannot be used for the next example, pujam arhati. But right below 329, if you look a couple of sutras below that, you'll find a rule. Again, here also, should have had 321 by karmanyan. That's a default rule. It says all dhatus, as long as the karma upapada is there, they should take the pratyaya an. But the specific rule that Panini gives here is that I think it's number 12, arhaha, which sutram is short and sweet, arhaha. Arha pujayam asmad dhatoho karmanyapapade achpatya bhavati anopavadaha. This is an interesting one now. And of course, yeah, in the Gita, pujarha varisudana comes in this word is in the Bhagavad Gita. So you have already familiar with this word. Let me go to Gita for a quick second. So pujarha varisudana bhishma drona pujarha. So pujam arhataha bhishma drona. Arjuna says, wait, one more thing about this pronouncing this word ending in short, like Arjuna. See, in North India, they say Arjun. Sometimes in South India, they say Arjuna. I think both are a little bit incorrect. I think the best way to do this, pronounce this word like Arjuna, or Rama. Should be Rama, not Rama. Not Lakshmana. Because what happens is that I think the simplest thing to do is to pronounce the word like this. You just say like should be Veda, not Veda. Should be Ram plus A. So you just say like in Ram A, Arjun A, Veda, not Veda, not Rama, not Arjuna. Sometimes you get into a temptation to make it extra long, but that becomes like a long A. The same pronunciation as the A only you have to do. Arjuna, Rama. So Rama. So Arjuna should say. What he's saying is that how can I kill Bhishma and Drona? Because they puja arha. They're worthy of worship. Arha is to deserve. They deserve a worship. So I think it is coming a little bit beforehand. Katam Bhishmaham Sankhe Dronam Chamadusudana Ishivip Pratiyotsyami Pujarha Varisudana. So how can I kill Bhishma and Drona? Because they are worthy of worship. Okay, so Pujarha is in Gita. Pujarha is Dvitiya Dvivachanam Dvitiya. Okay, so now here, why do we need 3 to 12? Interesting point coming up now is when we have, what is Sutra says, as long as Dhatu Arha is there, we cannot use 3 to 1. We have to use 3 to 12. Doesn't have to be the word puja. It could be like, Prashamsa Arhaha, Ninda Arhaha api. He deserves to be criticized, deserves to be praised. Prashamsa Arhaha. So could have been like that. So puja we already went through these steps before. Go a little bit quicker now so we can make it yes. Number 2365 which we used, then use the dhatu ar and just use the pratyaya ach. The point which Kashika is making now is why do we need this sutram 3 to 12? Because if whether you use the ach or the an, you're going to get the same form. Why is that? Because the 72115, 72116 would have no effect here. It doesn't end in a ach, and the upada is a repha. So even an, even 3 to 1 would have given the same form, would have given us, pujarha. So that is the question which Kashika asks and makes and gives the answer also. And the reason is that it will have a difference in the feminine. So in the feminine, we have given us pujarha because here the 72115, 116, 7 to 115 only applies when you have an ending ach.
Satish,
116, yes.
the Arn or Ach has an effect on Arh, not Puja, right?
Not on puja. So the arh is ending in a hakara. So it's not ajanta. So 115 cannot apply.
So
Now
the
116 requires the
Upada is
116
there. No. Okay.
is repha.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Yeah, so that's the reason 7 to 116 doesn't apply.
Right.
So that's why, we could have used that. But then remember in the feminine though, in 412, but in the feminine, when you have to form the feminine form, as we just saw,
the
this
Arn versus
4115 would have applied, to if un were to be used, so that would have been a different form. But here, if ach is used, then only the default 414 ajadyata stop. So if ach is used by 3, but actually ach is to be used. Ach is used by 3 to 12. Default, you have to apply the default only ajadyata stop 414. So the desired form is the pujarha. Is the pujarha. So that is why Pani sometimes, just because sometimes this Pani does, we have to scratch our head. But of course, most of the time the commentary will help us. So therefore 3 to 12 is required for this. In the masculine and neutral will not make any difference. Okay. So then we get the form for the same steps as before. Of course, in the ach, the chaka is hit by halantyam. There's no guna vriddhi, anything at all here. Again, remove the nyas by 2471, make it pujarha in masculine. So pujarha, pujarha, pujarho, pujarha, and so on. It will become pujarha, becomes sitavat in the feminine. So that's the reason why, and quickly take you to the Kashika for the 3 to 12, see what he says. And because the obvious question, because many times you have to ask the question, why is this rule required? We don't need it because something else would have already done the job. There must be something there, maybe a little bit subtle sometimes, which needs to be addressed, which is what this is taking into account. So the sutra arhaha. So when you have the dhatu har, arha, so it's a panchami arhaha, it says strilinge visheshaha. What it says, strilinge visheshaha. Is the difference is only strilinga. Pujarha, gandharha, malharha. She deserves puja, she deserves a garland, she deserves, gandham, she deserves gandha, she deserves to be, use the scent. Strilinge. Okay. Because look at what Nyasa says. Ani hi sati nib bhavati. If we had the an, we have had the nib by 4115. Achi tu sati tab. This Nyasa commentary is a very good commentary, very simple, very straightforward, doesn't makes it nice, easy for us. So anihi sati nib bhavati, achitu sati tap. Okay, so that's why this sutra is required to get the feminine form pujarha. So that we'll do that. Otherwise, it's very straightforward. The last one he gives shilayam shete. Now this is the saptamiyate. This is not dvitiya. Before we had bhagam harati, pujam harati is karmani. But this is no adhikarane. And that is 3 to 15, Pani is a special rule. Adhikarane shete hai. Adhikarane shete hai. And become, so let's look at that one. So what Pani says that when you have upapada, which is an adhikaranam. So in that, on that. So shilayam shete. One who sleeps on a slab of stone. Sleeps on a slab, shilayam shete. So then we have, so here instead of using the shila plus nyas, we have to use shila plus ni. Of course, that's going to go away anyway, but you have to use the panchami, shilayam shete. So shete hai, I'm sorry. So look at this form there. So shete hai. It's an interesting sutra. Let's look at this for a second, because in the sutram, Panini has shilayam shete hai. Okay. Now what is this shete? What vibhakti is that? You be in the class shilayam shete. 3 to 15, we have Sutram Shilayam Shete. Sorry, Adhikarane Shete. Sorry. Adhikarane Shete, the Sutram. Shilayam Shete is the example, but Adhikarane Shete. So Shete is what vibhakti of what pradipadikam? Maybe we saw this one, Satya is the answer. I know. Yes, Indu is the answer. Like Satya. Yes, Satya.
So Sheti.
Sheti. Or is it Panchami of Shete? What will be Panchami of Shete?
Panchami Sheti.
You have a word like Shete. What is the meaning of that? So what Satya is saying is if you have a word like Harivat Shabdaha become Harehe because of the Ghir Niti Gunaha become and then Nyasina Soshcha become Shete. Interesting. This is a very interesting one because if you had the form Shete, what is Panchami of that, Satya? I think the same form, right? Nyasina Soshcha. When the Sutta Nyasina Soshcha says that if you have because Enganta Angasya, so if you have an Enganta Anga, formed by Nyasi or Nyas, is that a very intriguing form this one is that. Is that whether you make, the whole reason I'm asking this is that because Dhatu Shing, Shayane, I think is the meaning, it is Atmanepada Dhatu. And actually Shete is the correct form, the Tinganta form for the third person singular. But remember what the Vartikam said. It is.
That's what I was thinking.
It is correct, but the funny thing here is that if you take the form Shete, it will give the same form Shete.
But
right?
what vibhakti do you want here?
Well, because of look at that, because you look at the vibhakti, it is that is Panchami because Dhato ho, right? Panchami. Panchami
Nyasina also gives you both things.
That's what I'm trying to say, that Nyasina Swasya when you apply, whether you have the Pratipadikam Shete, whether you have the Pratipadikam Sheti, you'll get the same form Shete as Panchami Ekavachanam. That's the interesting thing in this particular sutram. But remember, we already looked at the Vartikam before. We say you don't use the
Right,
the pratyaya.
Is there an example where he uses for Atmanepada Dhatu sorry.
Yeah, the tip pratyaya only has to be used. I'll find an example for you. I don't have the top of my head. But what Satya is asking is that is there another example in Ashtadhyayi where you have the tip being used for the dhatu, which is actually Atmanepada. But in the sutram itself, Panini will use only the Parasmapada form to refer to the dhatu. So we have to find an example in Ashtadhyayi where Panini has used a dhatu which is Atmanepada, which is indicated by using the tip for dhatu nirdeshe, just to refer to the dhatu itself.
Or actually I was saying, is there an example where you use actually ta?
No, ta will not be used. Ta should not be used because that will not fall under the Vartikam. So I don't think there's an example like that. That where he uses the ta pratyaya to make dhatu nirdesha. That is not there. But I think there are other examples. Besides, this is one example where the pratipadikam is sheti, and that will be a wrong form in usage. Because this is a dhatu which is atmanepadi. But in the sutra itself, Panini uses the form sheti. Even though here, if we had used shete, would have given the same form, shete, because shete is Panchami Vibhakti of shete as well as sheti. Let's see what Indu has to say. Indu has to say something. Yes, Indu.
What I was saying going to the basics of it, sheen and then Atmanepada, so I thought that's how we got the shete.
But then
Where you do the guna, right?
Correct. Guna in both cases. Okay, let's back up a little bit. Let's back up one step. What Indu is saying is that so regardless of whether you use the pratyaya tip, the pratyaya ta, atmanepada, parasmapada, you're going to get the gunaha because there's a special sutra, I think it's 7421, right?
7421, yeah.
7421 says that whether this dhatu sheen is only a single dhatu, that will always take a guna when the pratyaya falling is sarva dhatuka. So shinga sarva dhatuke gunaha. So no matter whether you use, and this is the atmanepadi dhatu. So in the regular language usage, you would never bring the pratyaya tip at all with this dhatu. because this dhatu is taking only Atmanipada endings. So there will be no form like Sheti in usage. But if Panini were to use it in the Ashtadhyayi for dhatu nirdeshe, he will form the form Sheti only. And then with Sheti he'll make Panchami Ekavachanam, will make it Shete. But the intriguing thing here is that, I should say confusing thing is that, if you had made Shete, the Panchami of that also is Shete only. So that's what the confusing thing here. But I think in keeping with the Vartikam, which we saw earlier, we have to take this Padipatikam as Sheti, even though the dhatu is a Atmanipada dhatu. And then we'll form the form. So anyway, I just want to bring it up because we saw the Vartikam earlier in the day, and we mentioned that even if the dhatu is Atmanipada, still we use only the Parasmapada tip form to refer in the sutram itself, to refer to the dhatu. So I'm talking about the Vartikam which you saw way back here in this 33108 Vartikam, right? So as per this Vartikam, in the sutram Adhikarane Shetehe, the Pradipadikam of Shetehe is Sheti. So as per this Vartikam, in the row Adhikarane Shetehe, but I thought it was an interesting point that they would have both given the same form. And if you don't understand all this, don't worry about it. The important thing is that that the sutra has to be used for the form Shetehe is the Panchami Ekavaka Dhatoho, right? This is adjective Shetehe Dhatoho. So Shing Dhatoho is the Panchami Ekavachanam of the Panchami Ekavachanam of Sheti, even though the dhatu is actually Atmanipadi. Even though the dhatu Shing is actually Atmanipadi in regular usage, it'll be is Atmapadi. Okay, so that's what say that now instead of karma you have the adhikarana, so it's the same similar kind of steps as far as the sutram, as far as the form is concerned. Start the sutram upapadamating, then bring in the pratyaya, because this sutram says that adhikaranam is there, upada is there, adhikaranam, the upada is there, we can use the pratyaya which is ach, anurutya ach is coming down, and this form in the rudram, for those who chant rudram, gartashayam yuvanam. So gartashayaha is shivaha. Garta is like a hole, I think that means the cavity of the heart. One who resides in the cavity of the heart is gartashayaha. I think it comes in the 9th anuvaka of rudram, gartashayaha. Okay, but anyway, right now we have a simpler example for us, which is the shila, and we have to now bring in the pratyaya ni, and then we have to bring in the dhatu, because it's only for this one single dhatu, okay, not for any dhatu, only for this one only. Then with the pratyaya ach, and you can then also take the sarva dhatuka ardha dhatuka yoho. This pratyaya ach is coming in this dhatoho iti vihitaha. It is not ting, it is not talavya shas and it only has the chas and it by halantyam, and therefore it is pratyaya, it is ardha dhatukam sheshaha. I'll do the, which to only apply the, just like before, apply the 7384, and to make it she, and then do ho yava yavaha, which is 6178, and then you'll get the form garat, and you have to remove the ni by, so instead of she, you make it guna, and make it she. Do ho yava yavaha, also remove the ni by 2471. Yeah, and there was a question.
Satishji, this is only going to be for Shila only?
No, adhikarane shete.
Right,
Any
it's only for
adhikarana.
adhikarani, right?
So any adhikarana, right?
Any
So
adhikarani.
Did I say only Shila? No, not only Shila. I'm sorry, not only Shila. Any Adhikaranam. Like I'll give you the Rudram example. The Gartashaya and Rudram, right? Gartashaya. So any Adhikaranam, not only Shila. No. So any Adhikaranam. But it has to be Adhikaranam, not Karma or anything like that. So, of course, Shi Dhatu is Akarmaka. So anyway, Karma won't make any sense anyway. But here we okay, Satya is no, okay, then I have a question. So apply Echo Yavayavaha, 78, and 2471. Remove the, actually, we should probably do 2471 first. Either way, 2471. See, the order in the Sapada Sapta Jai is not clear. There's no Viprati Sheda is not there. The order is not that critical. You can, do one or the other. But 6178, and then you do the, you get the form Shila Shayaha. So Shila Shayaha. Here also, if you want it from the feminine, becomes Shila Shaya. Because you'll not do the Neep. Apply the 415 default, becomes Shila Shayaha. Shila Shaya. So Shila Shaya feminine, Shila Shayaha masculine, Shila Shayam neuter in the nominative form. Okay. So that's the Pali becomes Shila Shaya. Now, okay, Satya has a question. I thought he had a question. Yes, Satya.
So the Prajipadikam Shila,
Mm-hmm.
does it have top in it? Or?
It has a top in it, yes.
So in forming the samasa, the top remains?
But the top only goes when you have in the Samanadhikarana. Because what Satya is saying is that when we have these adjectives which have a top pratyaya at the end, which have a sthir pratyaya at the end, they get the pumvad bhavaha. See, we say drudha bhaktihi. So sita prajñasya kaha bhasha, sita prajñayasya kaha becomes sita prajñaha. And that adjective in the beginning, which has to be an adjective, otherwise no.
Oh, okay.
Samadhikarana. So, okay, I think what Satya is referring to is these two sutrams which are coming in 6.3. See, 6.3 is the Pada Vashtadhyay, where Panini talks about what happens to the Pura Pada of a Samasa, when Uttara Pada then follows, and then there we have this two sutras, I think it's 6.3 around 40-ish, where Panini talks about the Pumvat Bhavaha, where the Pura Pada becomes Pumvat, becomes masculine like, when there is, but for that you need either Karmadhara Samasa or you need a Samadhikaram Bahuri, Samadhikaram Bahuri. I'll just give the numbers which, okay. This Pumvat Karmadhara is 6342 and prior to that 6334. But they don't apply because we don't have Samadhikaranam here.
Right.
Because this Samadhikarana comes in 34 and the Karmadhara comes in 42. So they don't apply here. Okay. So that's the homework on that
Satish,
one. Now let's.
Satish,
Yes.
the default for when there's karma is an.
Yes.
So when it is akarmaka, the default is ach.
No, akarmaka we have to see whether any upapada is authorized or not. In order to use this, which sutram are you trying to use? We don't know. So this sutram only says for the dhatu she. Adhikarana is there, then you can form a samasa with ach. If there's some other dhatu, we have to look for another sutram which will give us something.
So there is no default as such for akarmaka.
There is no default as such for this adhikarane because the karmanyan was a default for all dhatus.
Right.
The adhikarane has specific dhatus it has. Not for any dhatu, as for any dhatu, you really cannot form a samasa. It's a default. We can form upapada samasa, I should say. Upapada samasa is not like a blanket for all dhatus in adhikarane.
Okay.
You have to find a specific sutram with a specific dhatu to form the samasa.
Okay.
So, okay, now let's see who wants to take the next homework. We have almost out of time, but hail to thee, poet. What you want to do is that please give me the sutram that you're trying to use to do the, even if you can without sutram also is okay. See, this homework, if you can do any part of this is okay. You don't have to give, I don't want to ask you sutram, so because if you can do any part of it also is okay. Let me give Karthik a chance. Let's get Karthik going. Karthik, you want to try this one? Karthik is there? No, it's not there. Okay. Let's see who wants to try this. Somebody new? Hail to the poet. Hey, Vasudha can do this. Vasudha?
Namaste.
Hail to the poet.
Poet Kavi.
Sambuddhi. You want a sambuddhi. Atra sambodhanamasti. Tasmad. He will be he kave.
He Kavi.
So hail to the so poet. So it will be like Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare.
So it will be kave. So he kave. So we put the
Chayatu.
Kave, and here we want to use the word swasti.
Swasti. Okay. Swasti.
And then that
Swasti bhavati. Bhavet.
So you can say, tubhyam. I can say bhavate. Bhavate swasti. So the chaturthi. And so sutram which we are using here is the namaswasti. So this is the upapada vibhakti. It will come below the 2, 3, I think 14 or 13 starts the Chaturthi Sampradane. So we have to go, and there is a sutram there which says Namaswasti, etc., which are these words they can be used. It's 2, 3, 16. Namaswasti Swaha Swadha Alam Vashad Yoga Cha. So we have the word Swasti. I'm sorry, yes, we have the word Swasti because this is the here. So we are going to use that He Kave Tubhyam Swasti Atva Bhavate Swasti. Okay. You can say swasti bhavate. Swasti bhavate. And so that will be the Pratham Vakyam. And then we can also, then what's the next part? He says, take it piece by piece. If it is, now if you take it piece by piece, it becomes easier. Khandashaha kartavyam.
Okay.
So thou hast composed a poem which pleases all of us. So let's take it, which pleases all of us. So we can say which, we can probably use yat. Yat. Sarvebhyaha.
Sarvebhyaha asmakam yas.
Yeah. Asmadbhyam.
Asmabhyam.
So because we want to use chaturthi. So asmabhyam, I'm sorry. Yushmabhyam, asmabhyam. So that we want to use the asmat pradipadikam. You can use the become asmabhyam sarvebhyaha asmabhyam. I'm sorry, asmabhyam rochate. Rochate. That's the reason why it is.
Bahuvachanam va tatra.
Rochate ekavachanam. Yad kavyam.
Okay.
Yat kavyam.
Yat kavyam.
It's a kavyasya visheshanam. Sarvanama shabdayam. So yat kavyam asmabhyam. Sorry, not asmabhyam. Yat kavyam. We'll do sandhis afterwards. Pascha sandhi karyam. Yat kavyam sarvebhyaha asmabhyam rochate. Okay, now what sutra will we use here to make the to take chaturthi from with asmabhyam? For that we have to go to 1.4 and this
Sampradane.
no, so for that he says Dhatu Ruch specifically is mentioned there, and so that which is pleasing to somebody, that somebody. So the Priyamana, whose one is Priyamana, he gets the Ruchyarthanam Priyamanaha. 1433. Ruchyarthanam Priyamanaha. Priyamanaha is being pleased. One who is being pleased. Priyamana comes in Gita. Yatte ham Priyamanaya Vakshyami hita kamyaya. I think it comes in 10th Adhyaya. I think first or second shloka. What's 10th Adhyaya, first shloka of Gita? It says, Bhuya eva mahabaho shuname paramam vachaha yatte ham Priyamanaya Vakshyami hita kamyaya. So in Gita 10.1, the word Priyamana has come. I'll tell this to you, Arjuna, because you are being pleased with what I'm telling you. That's why I'll tell you. Okay, so Ruchyarthanam Priyamana. So 1433, and then of course that will only give the Sampradana Sanya, and then 1433, and then after that, Tat Paschat Chaturthi Sampradane. always is. So this is a Karka Vibhakti. So 1433, 2313. So I'll put these numbers down here. So next time when we do finish this homework, try to give me a sutra also with that. So I'll put in bracket here. Koshtagatam 1433, 2313. And before we had the Namaswasti, I think was 2316, right? Okay. So Bhavate we had used 2316 because that is the subject matter of this lesson. Okay. Yad kavyam sarvebhya asmabhyam rochate. And then the last part of that, you have composed that. So you have composed. Thou hast composed.
Thou.
Tad bhavan.
Tat bhavan, yeah.
Tad. Tad. Rachayati. Arachayat api bhavati atva rachitavan. Do that also.
Rachitavan is left side.
Rachitavan. So rachitavan. Because this is the easy way out. You can use the ktavatu pratyaya. So yadi tingantam narochate tarhi ktavatu pratyaya proyaktavyaha. You can use it. Tavatu is a little bit cheaper. If you rachayati, if you want to use the tinganta form, you can then try to make it. You can practice your tinganta. So arachayata, arachayata is that because tinganta the nichascha arachayat should work. So you can use that also. So let's see any objections. Atra akshepa asti kasyapi. Anybody wants any? Oh, because but there's a form called because, I think. Is there the word because here? No, there's no because. Okay, fine. So thou hast composed a poem which pleases all of us. So we made a poem which pleases all of us, has been composed, and you have composed that. So he kave swasti bhavate, or you can say bhavate swasti maybe. And yat kavyam sarvebhya asmabhyam rochate tad bhavan rachitavan. Okay, Satya has a suggestion. Yes, Satya.
Can we just say hey kave namastubhyam?
No, namas is like a namaskara. That's not. You want to say hail is namastu. Okay. And so swasti is it? Let's see. What is he given the has he given the vocabulary any meaning of this? Here, let's see. I thought hail was given as swasti.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, hail. I think hail is that hail is means like depends on what. Okay, you know what? At this point, let's use Apte. Let's see what the meanings he gives for the for swasti and for namas. Let's see what Apte has given. Let's go to Apte dictionary. So get used to use the dictionary. Let's use the form. Let's see what he gives for the swasti. And let's see what he gives for namaha. So let's try swasti first. Swasti. Swasti means like let good betide you, good unto you. Means let there be welfare. Let us see. What happened to my dictionary? Okay, here it is. Sorry. Okay, let's try swasti first. Swasti and starting with. So let's see. Let me use the word hail. Okay, swasti. He's giving. Swasti is may it be well with one. Farewell. Okay, hail is given here, so that this one will work. Hail is given here. Let's try namaha also. Maybe so this one hail will go back here. Let's try to use namaha. I think the best way to use this one, I think that I found you already copy and paste the. So the question is, can namaha be used? Namaha. Can namaha be used? So let's check in the dictionary. We'll check namaha as an avyaya. Let's see what meanings are given there.
One gives both namaha and swasti in the back of the.
Okay, so both are given. Okay,
yeah.
So then the same sutram we can use namaha. So then we change it. That's good. So we can. There's no word namaha. Okay, maybe it's namas in the. Maybe he wants it as namas. Is that what it is? How does apte have it? Or maybe I didn't search properly. Let me try it again. Okay, namaha starting with search words. There's no word like namaha in apte. No. Okay. Let me try namas. That's the thing with the dictionary. You have to sometimes,
Yeah, it's namas.
It's namas. Okay, let me try namas, and that probably will do it for us. Namas will do it. But I wanted to use the dictionary. That's why it's good to use this one. The great seva which Apte Mahashaya has done for us. Okay, namas. Let's see what he gives. Salutations, obeisances with dative. Doesn't say the word. Salutations,
Yeah.
bow, obeisance. I think probably swasti is slightly better. Probably.
Swasti essentially.
I think swasti is slightly better. So, okay. Because namaskar doesn't really mean like welfare to you. It means like only like I respect you and I bow to you. Generally namaskar. Maybe just do one more, maybe stop. Actually, time is kind of up, but I think next one is a long one or short one. Let's see. Okay, last one. The surge cursed in perfect the girl because her conduct did not please him. Okay, how about somebody? Karthik back. Karthik, are you there? Karthik is there. Yes. Karthik, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Then can you try this one? The sage cursed the girl. Okay, so the sage is Rishihi.
Rishihi.
You can use the word shap and we make it shashapa. The perfect form we have not done in this class so much. So, you know what, we'll continue next time, but let me just put this. So just take the form shashapa for the time being. The pratyaya actually is null pratyaya is coming, and you're doing atopadhayaha. I'll revisit next time, so let me just put this form. Actually, even before we do that, you want to quickly do the sandhis for this one, so I guess we are out of time. He kave swasti bhavate yat kavyam, it become anuswara, right? So
Yeah, anuswara.
Anuswaraha. So let me put the same thing down here and do the sandhis quickly. Probably we should end the class. I don't like to go over time. But, okay. Let's do the sandhis for this one first. Copy paste didn't work. Okay. Swasti yat kavyam, so become anuswaraha. Monuswaraha. Yat kavyam. Sarvebhyo smam. So it will be, what is sutram there, Karthik?
It would be
Atoro
or Apluda.
And then you have to use the ad guna. And then ingaf padanta, the ti. Sarvebhyo smam. Correct? Sarvebhyo smam. The same thing here, monuswaraha again. You should practice this sutra. Everybody please practice this because this is very fundamental. Tad bhavan, I think we are okay. Tad bhavan rachitavan. Of course, if you use arachayat, you just join this. Tad bhavan rachayat. Tad bhavan rachayat. Tad bhavan rachayat. Okay, so what we'll do, we just do this verbally today and then we'll come back next time. Okay, so let's see. The surge is, as a sage, Rishihi, his good, use the dhatu shap, make it shashapa. And the girl, you can use the kanyam maybe, balikam atva kanyam. And then yasmat, because her conduct, what do you want to say there?
Her conduct.
Just take her, what do you want to use for her?
Tasyaha.
Tasyaha, very good. Conduct. Acharanam. Acharanam did not please him.
Tasmai.
Narochata. And please is?
Arochata.
Narochata. Narochata. Actually, if you want to use the same perfect form, what would you use?
Narochava. Narochata.
Rurocha.
This is I think going to be Atmane, Rochate is Atmanepada form. Ruruche. Ruruche probably. Ruruch should become Ruruche. Ruruche. Because you're using perfect here, because Ruch become ruch ruch, became halali sheshaha, and you litasthajo resh become ruruche. Okay, so we'll do this next time. So, and what sutram here, Karthik, quickly, because it did not same sutram, right?
Yeah.
Ruchirtanam
Ruchirtanam Priyamana.
Priyamana. So 1433 to 430. So next time we'll finish this one. So please practice, and hopefully you can participate more next time. We'll also start the next lesson. For the next lesson, quick sutras for the next lesson is the first point 132 is sutra number 3315. The second point is 3313. And then the whole section on this Idagama is basically 7 to 35 is the main, so but 7 to 35 is the kind of the pivotal rule over there. But 7 to 10 is the one you want to look at the Vyakhyanam in great detail. We'll look at Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi Vyakhyanam in 7 to 10. We'll be discussing that in detail for the next lesson. Let me just point it out to you and then we stop the class. We're already 6 minutes over. So 7 to 10, we look at this Ekach Upadeshanu Dattat, Ekach Upadeshanu Dattat. 7 to 10, we can, thinking after this homework is done, maybe we can even publish a separate document, just the homework. People who don't want to listen to the whole class, they can just look at the homework. Anyway, so let's just do I want to just show this section on 7 to 10. What is because I want you to read this at home if you can. Just this part this one in Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi, we say this Ekash Upadeshanu Datta, this much up to here. Okay? This Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi section, just read that for homework for next time. Okay? Ramo Rajamanis Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Bihata Nishachara Chamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha Rama Nasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham Rame Chittale Sada Bhautame Bho Rama Mamuddhara Rama Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tatsulyam Rama Nama Varadane Shri Rama Nama Varadana Om Nameti. By the way, happy Ram Navami. We should chant it one more time. Ramo Rajamani Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Vyata Nishachara Chamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha Rama Nasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham Rame Chittale Sada Bhautame Bho Rama Mamuddhara Rama Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Rama Nama Varadane Shri Rama Nama Varadana Om Nameti. And if you want to chant the Sankshipta Ramayanam, you can chant just the first Adhyaya of Balakandam is Sankshipta Ramayanam. It has only 100 shlokas, and it is very, very nice, very sweet. So at least on Ram Navami day, at least you can chant that. Today is Dvitiya, right? So Ram Navami will be actually next Wednesday. So maybe we can chant some of that next Wednesday. Let's see. Remind me. Okay, so that's the class. Anybody wants to ask questions, I'll stay back. Okay.